Just fix up some stuff. Yes, sir. Just be here, man. The day was great, beloved brother. The day was great. As long as you can breathe, you're not 6 feet under. And then it's a good thing. It is good, brothers. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, welcome. We have a lot to discuss. We have a lot. Yes. Give me one moment, brothers. Give me 1 second. All praises to the Most High YAHAWAH. Welcome, brothers and sisters. My apology. I have so many things going on. I have some beautiful letters that the brethren and the sisters sent us. Wait a minute. What am I doing? Well, all the letters. What did I do with them? Oh boy. Oh man. Did I move? Oh, here we go. They are right here. I'll put something on top of them. Shalom, brothers. Shalom, sisters. Welcome. So much things in here, man. Got candles and so many papers still studying. Whoop, nope. Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. We're about to begin. Here we go. We're about to study some of the Egypt protocol, brothers. But before we begin, I would like to clear out certain things that, oh boy, I forgot to make that phone call. Well, I'll call this person. This is after the break. After when we're on our break, we'll call. I'll call. All right. Give me a 1 if you can hear me and see me very well. You know how this thing goes. Give me a 1 if you can hear me and see me well. All right. I think one of the brother, I believe, beloved brother Patrick, sent me a headphone with the microphone, but those things, they have USB, and all my USB ports are occupied. I have no place to plug it. Oh, I can show this here. Oh, boy. All my USB port, they are occupied, and I can't. There's no space. There's no space, and I have all sort of things connected to that, and yeah, I have one. It's like one, two, three, four. It's like five of them, and I got so many things connected to this. I make music, so I have a USB hub, and when I disconnect something and I plug it in, the software doesn't want to read it. YouTube doesn't want to read it, so it's just this setup that I have. I also have a mixer here, so the mixer, yeah, that thing is maxed out, man. It's just that house, brother. I have so many things plugged in. So now, brothers, welcome. Thank you for being here. It's good to be here. Peace be with you. There'll be no Jacob's trouble. What's going on out there, as you may be aware of it, it's called Esau's trouble and the Gentiles tribulation. Before we move in, brothers, there are a couple of things that we need to clear out. Some of our people, brothers, some of you guys that are new to these channels and also new to to these to this truth. Somebody knocking? I believe I hear somebody knocking. Anyway, for those of you that are new, brothers, this is a learning process. It's a step by step thing. I myself in this truth, I'm a toddler. I just learned how to walk in it. Okay, you will walk, you will fall, you will make mistake. Okay, let the Holy Spirit nurture you. Let her hold your hands. Let her walk you. You will fall. You, you, and the church, brothers, you never fall. Church, the reason why you never fall in the church, that's because you never stand up in the church. As little toddlers, we have to let the Holy Spirit guide us. We cannot go and then just want to show off how we know. We have so much wisdom and knowledge. You have none. At least I do. At least I do know I have none of this. I'm not smart. I don't know anything. I just let the Holy Spirit guide my hand. Now, to give you an example of that, the beloved brother Big Judah, he had no idea that my channel is being booted out for a week. So we will be back, like I said, on the 9th. So when he upload both of the videos that he uploaded, I made the video respond in the same day. So all of you that watch this, everything that we talk about match, even though he didn't even see my videos, but he saw all the clues. Maybe some of you bring it to him. Okay, maybe the Holy Spirit. Anyway, the Most I did. So he had no idea. We just communicate on the how do you call this thing again? Email for the first time ever, because we never use email. We just let the Holy Spirit guide you. Okay. Why did I bring this, brothers? Some of you out there, you're new to this truth. And if you're fasting with us, brothers, understand that when you're fasting, you are open to spiritual attack. We talk about this many times, just touching on that, then we'll go in the book. When you're fasting, you will have attack. What do we call a spiritual attack? The kids will be out of line. They'll piss you off. The husband will piss you off. The wife will piss you off. That co-worker, something will, especially for those of you that are working, if something will piss you off, something will get on your nerve. You won't be able to hold your phone, and something, you will keep dropping things. It will become irritating. What they are doing, they are pressuring you to quit. And a lot of people that are new to this does that. They do quit, and then they do comply with those stuff which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to finish it until until the sun went down. Again, brothers, if you are new to fasting, don't do 3 days dry fast, brothers. 3 days dry fast is horrible. For those of you that ever did 3 days dry fast, brothers, oh, brother, I was bleeding after 3 days without drinking, eating anything. And I was talking through those 3 days with the prayers and the podcast. My tongue rubbed against my teeth, and then he sliced it. I took a sip of water, brothers. a step of cold water. It felt like four rows of razor run down my throat, brothers. That thing was horrible. It's really hard to do this. So if you, who the hell am I to tell you not to do 3 days work? Fasting, but I will highly recommend you do a water fasting, which we're going to start the 8th. The 8th Thursday is going to be our day, our fasting days. If you wish to fast with us, just as simple as drinking some water, brothers, was a pain. It was a pain for me. Okay, now, so give me a second. Let me see. Yes. So for those of you that have children and your children are not behaving, or your children is doing something that is against the truth, okay, if that child is very young, okay, you have to pray and tell them, well, give the Messiah this child. Give the Messiah this child. Surrender this child to the Messiah. Don't stand in front of the Messiah and say, why are you doing this to my children? Why are you doing this to my child? Tell the Messiah, this is your son, this is your daughter. Use him or her to fulfill your prophecy. I bow down and I'll surrender. And then you let the Messiah be the judge. If you have compassion upon your children, upon your whatever family member, you just say the same thing and you say the Messiah on the behalf of the covenant. I ask that you may give my daughter or my son one last time so he can see the truth. Let his heart come to you. If he can come to you with his heart, bring him in. If he cannot, sell her. That's it, brothers. You're nothing but a pawn on the Messiah chess table. You don't know why the Messiah is doing those things to your children. You don't know why the Messiah is doing those things to your wife, to your husband. Some people are getting divorced. The Messiah, when you keep praying, brothers, when you keep asking the Messiah to purify you and purging you, he is going to do that. Don't question him and say, why are you doing this? When you're asking the Messiah, purify me, make me pure, make me whiter than snow, clean me up, and he's going to take those things out of you and is going to detach you from anything that is dirty, anything that preventing you from receiving the blessing. It's gonna happen. So be it. That's what you say, Selah, so be it. Or Sila. The reason why I'm saying this, brothers, for those of you who know these stories, David has Huya murdered so he can take Huya's wife, which he succeed. And he ended up and impregnated her, and she has a child. David did love that child. But in the eyes of the Messiah, in the eyes of everybody that know this story, it was wrong. So the Messiah said to David straight up, because of what you did, this child that is born is an unrighteous child. It was born out of pure wickedness. I am going to kill this child. And the Messiah did. He did kill the child. David prayed, he fasted, the Messiah did. Because he knew he wasn't supposed to do this. The Messiah did. After that, what did the Messiah give David? Because David repented. He gave him Solomon, the greatest king among the human that ever lived. He gave him Solomon. The reason why I'm telling you this, because of me. My mother was pregnant with the first child. It was a daughter. And she ended up being murdered. A neighbor killed her and let my mother know that he did kill my sister. And my mother dropped to her knee and she praised the Most High and she gave the Most High all praises. She understand everything that happened. I told the story before. She gave the Most High all praises. She told the Most High, thank you for having judgment upon me. Do as you will. And she let that go. And a year later, I was born. Because the Most High had a plan for that. Till this day, they never made it clear. My mother always told me ever since I was born, she said, those people over there, don't play with their kids. Don't go to their houses. I never known why until I was grown. And she told me they were the one who made it know. They actually murdered my sister and they murdered the dog that my grandmother had. Why? Out of jealousy. Out of jealousy, because one of the women that was a friend to so-called my father, and she wanted to get with the father, but my father did not want him and get with her, and then she pay and do some stuff, and then let my mother know that she did this as a form of intimidation, and I was born, and my mom told me exactly the reason why it happened. And I can tell you right now, brothers, all of those people, all their children, all of them, they're no longer here. All those people, I believe, except one of them, he was like a quote unquote a Protestant fellow. Most of them died. Horrible death. They were wicked people. My mom always told me, my grandmother, my father, my grandfather always told me, never ever fight the Most High. Whatever he did, you better believe it. He did it for a good reason. So I'm receiving many phone call, brothers. I'm receiving many emails about people struggling with their children. The only thing you can do is surrender this child to the Most High. That's what you live for. That's what you stepping into this truth. When you step into this truth, brothers, when the Most High say He choose you, you will come unto Him without blemish. You will come unto Him without no dirty spot. He will clean you. Okay, so if anything, your child is dealing with any type of substance abuse and stuff, surrender this child to the Most High. Go into the fast and tell the Most High, I'm giving you my son, I'm giving you my daughter. You may do as you will. Use him, use her to accomplish whatever you have, so your glory could be seen on the earth. Let the Most High do His job. Don't be like so-called I believe Kobe's wife, that said that she will never forgive the Most High for taking Kobe, his husband, away from her, as if she has some type of power to forgive the Most High. This is what happened when you get those religious mindset. You don't understand that there's a power that is higher than you that can do whatever the hell you want to do. Brothers, sisters, we did a lot. We must acknowledge our sins. We may not want to admit them, but we did, brothers. Now, with that being said, brothers, please do this. Pray and ask the Most High for guidance. He will guide you. Surrender your child, and whatever happened, always give the Most High praises. We are going to go into the book of the Pillar of Fire. As we went into this, brothers, and last time when we were in there, please click the like button. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. Let's go right into it, brothers. Okay. Oh boy, this is what happened. Let me see. Okay, I got like I stopped in page 53. I just got like 2 more paragraphs to finish this thing, but let's begin in letter 5. We are going to study letter 5. Is that what that is? Gotta be careful. Letter 5, brothers. Okay. Now, last time when we left, Last time when we left, we know for a fact now that Ramesses is actually Moses. Is actually Moses. We know for a fact now Sesostris, the prince of Phoenicia, the son of Epithia, the queen of Phoenicia, she sent her 28 years old son to Egypt to study because at that time, Egypt was like, quote unquote, what it is today, America. All right. So now, excuse me. So now, Sesostris met with Moses. We're just going to do a little recap. And he saw the whole, well, not the whole, some of the Egyptian architectural build up and stuff. He saw a group of people, brothers, that don't look like slaves. Those people look well dressed, they look noble, they got a special features upon their faces, they look grand, they look connected to some type of higher power, but yet he saw those people were being mistreated. The sun was so hot, it was hot, and he saw a taskmaster beating an old man. He beat that old man until the weight of the bricks that the old man was transporting on his back fell upon him, and he fell, and he was keep beating this old man. He asked Moses, who are those people? What did they do to deserve this? I understand. He said, I understand that we always have slaves, but this, brother, let me say this again. When they say somebody is a slave, brothers, to someone else, they mean that person is a handmaid. Handmaid, how do you call for men? Man servant and handmaid, an employee, brothers. You had two classes. You had the employees, and you have the nobles, and you have the kings and queens. And when he saw this, he asked Moses. He asked Moses, was known as Ramesses. He asked Moses, who are those people? Why they all be? Back then, most Phoenicia and Egypt always have slaves, but this is not slavery. What I'm seeing here, this is abuse to the next level. And Moses, aka Ramesses, turn around and look at him, and with a proud look, and he said, "Oh, those are Hebrews." He said, "Hebrews?" He said, "Yeah, the descendant of Abraham." He said, "What? I would like to know. They have Syriac future, which means Abraham was known as a Syrian." Okay, and he said, they look like Abraham descent. He said, "Well, anytime I have a little bit of time, I will explain to you how they are Pharaoh slave forever and ever and ever." Now, keep in mind now, brothers, shalom, beloved brothers. Keep in mind now, Moses have no idea who he is. And the king, the prince Sesostris, know Moses is his cousins because Epithia is the daughter of a princess, of a Phoenician princess. As we know, the Phoenician, the Tyrian, the sorceress of Endor in the book of the throne of David, the sorceress that Saul went to bring Samuel back, she was a Phoenician woman. Now, this is letter 5. This is Sesostris writing to his mother in Phoenicia. Sesostris is in Egypt, and the mother is Epithia, queen of Phoenicia. This is what he said. "Dear and royal mother, I am still in the city of the sun, or Re, okay, which is Ra. And the cities are Re, Ra. As I find it is often called by the Egyptians. So back then, the Egyptians called the city not Ra, but Re, R-E, Re, okay? By the I got something here. There you go, page 53. Okay, as it called by the Egyptian. And I write to you from the palace of Ramesses, not the abode which was first allotted me, but to his apartment in his own imperial residence, and honor sharer at his table in society. Here, in a sumptuous chamber, the walls of which are intercolumnar, panels enriched by paintings of gold and blue grounds, tastefully bordered by flowers and fruit. I once more resume my pen to write to you about this wonderful land. Now, Sesostris, he was in one of the palaces that belonged to Moses. So Moses has so many palaces, and he was a prince. Moses, Moses was one, a prince. Two, well, first he was a priest. Second, he was a high priest. Third, he was a soldier, a high captain, and fourth, he was a prince. So Moses has a lot of title, aka Ramesses. Now, for those of you, brethren, that saw that video in Egypt, they are moving those body of pharaohs and stuff like that. A lot of those people were the 12 shepherd kings, and you will understand why. The 12 shepherd kings, the 12 tribes, a lot of them were our people where they were ruling Egypt. Once our people stopped ruling Egypt, Egypt till this day going down. Now you got a 78-year-old fellow. I don't know how old is this guy. Today I saw a speech by Biden. I ain't never seen anybody say the dude was saying. I'm like, what is he saying? He bumbling, mumbling, and then thank you for being an American, a citizen like me. What? There's a big difference between an American and a U.S. citizen. You scumbag. I don't know why. Anyway, this is just show you like Egypt is they hit rock bottom at any moment now. Boom. So he's no longer he's no longer in the first palace that he was in the previous letter. He's now in Ramesses, aka Moses' palaces, and then Moses' palace, that main palace. Okay. The day after I closed my last letter, dear mother, a high officer from the queen Amense alighted from his chariot, or alighted from his chariot, my palace, and placed in my hands the signet of his royal mistress with a message that she desired me to present to her. Now, remember, in the beginning, in the first letter, Sesostris' mother, Epithia, queen of Phoenicia, gave Sesostris a letter to give to Amense, the queen of Egypt. So he still have that letter. Now he wants to meet with the prince. Now they said, brothers, understand this. Everything is royalty protocol. You are about to meet the highest, the queen or the king. You can just go. You can just go just like that. We are in page 44. Page 44, the first paragraph in the book. I'm not quite sure where it is. Again, brothers, I jump page from page, so it won't really matter. Now, brothers, when you go meeting a king, when you go meeting a queen, you can, brothers, did you know the people, they never actually meet the pharaohs? They always, for the pharaoh to meet you, you have to be another king or another prince. They don't meet with common people. They don't do that. They meet with ambassadors, which mean representation of a king or a queen. Like YAHAWAH was an ambassador to the Most High. YAHAWAH is not the Most High. He's just an ambassador. He's a representation of the Most High. He taught us how to get to the Most High. That's why he told us, you cannot get to my Father without getting through me, which means without learning me. I am the law. I teach you the way that I teach you. Cannot get through him without knowing what I know. And then oh boy, I almost said good word here. You freaking Christian raise this man above everything. Not even the true YAHAWAH. Some dude, now he has returned. For those of you, mother, thank you, Shirley, a way maker. Make the way for the big dog to come in and kick. The big dog just sent the people over there to kicking us and taking them and report to him. That's what the big dog does. He used people to make his wrath. For those of you who don't know, the Messiah has come back. The Messiah is back here. He's in the land of Hesh. His name is GZ Ben David. He's back wearing glasses, kissing men, and wearing a mask. So he's in the midst of us. Thank you very much. Now, brothers, Let's see. Yeah. Now, so they sent a messenger to him to tell him that the queen of Egypt, Amense, wished to meet him. You don't go to the king, you don't go to the queen just like, oh, I just came here, I want to talk to the queen. It doesn't work like that. It takes months, sometimes years, just to speak with royalty. And they don't speak with anybody like that. Yeah. Mm. I had already received an invitation from the prince of this intended honor, and had made myself ready, being attired when the messenger came in and in full costume of a prince of Tyre. So he was a Tyrian from Phoenicia, save the golden crown, instead of which I wore the helmet shaped cap of Tyrian. Okay, wait a minute. Yes. So, all right, this is a recap. Okay, so he about to meet the queen. Okay, so he wears his clothes. I clasped the cloak of Tyrian purple and embroidery. He put his clothes, and then Moses sent him a wand because you are not allowed to meet the king or the queen with weapon. They give you a wand. The wand is like a short staff. Okay, that's why in Egyptians movies and stuff like that, you always see those guys carrying some sharp stuff, which is a wand. The wand back then, it is considering highly unpolite to point with your fingers when you're talking. You there? Look at this. Look at this. This is cursing. When you point something with your finger, it's very offensive back then. So it was considering savage when you point with your finger, so you have to use something to point out, like a wand, a short. Oh, here we go. I had a wand here. I never seen this. Not a freaking Harry Potter, okay? Like a ruler, short ruler, or runs to say good morning over there. Look over there, the king. And the tip of the one that they give him is made out of gold. That means it's royalty and nobility. Some tip is made out of silver and other stuff. Some tip don't made out of nothing. Everybody, most people carry the one, just like most people today carry the cell phone. Okay, some of us have iPhone. Some of us have regular phone. I got a LG and a Samsung, a regular bootleg Samsung. $50 each. They still work. Some people have like iPhone. It depends. So that's what it was back there, okay? Yeah, people hate it when somebody point in them and put finger on their faces. You can get killed for that. Till these days, somebody come up in your face and then put their finger, say, man, you gotta get, do something right. Yeah, hey man, it's gonna happen to you. Okay, so that's why they have wand. Okay, it symbolizes a lot of things. So they give him a wand, and this one which Moses sent him, it says the great prince of Egypt, Ramesses Moses. Now we establish that Moses is Ramesses. Okay. Now he about to meet the queen. There's a lot of protocols, brother. Understand those things. Okay. And you don't do this too, brothers. When you're talking to someone, if you want to heal someone's attention, you don't do this. You don't snap people. I believe back then you don't do it till today. You don't do that. If somebody is looking at something, they're not paying attention, you don't snap your finger like so the person will turn. I myself almost got into trouble with this when I was younger. I snapped some people. Yeah, it's very, very rude. You don't do that, brothers. You don't snap people. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am. We still do this. But protocols, there are certain things that you do, you can end up being killed. For instance, I believe in Iran, Iran or Iraq. You see in my prayer, I raise my hand, I'm praying. This is very offensive when you tell somebody like this in those countries. Is that same one as giving somebody the middle finger? Is that same one? When you tell somebody, when you get into an argument and then you tell that person. And especially when you give that person not high five but high 10 and you double your FU. Hey, and your mother. And then you run. Oh, where's my whistle? This is very offensive, brothers. So when you go to another country, to another culture, you have to be very, very careful. You have to be very careful. Like your shoes, for instance, one day I show my shoes here. In a certain Asian country, if you show somebody your shoe, you hold your shoe to someone, or you show the under the bottom of your shoe, this is horrible. You can get killed for this. You can get killed. So those are protocols, brothers. Those are customs and way people used to deal back then. You know. So yeah, and then especially the women. The whole body of a woman in certain country is considering offensive. And just to traumatize some of you, there are certain religion. That's why we told our people, we didn't deal with none of these garbages, man. Our women used to have beautiful hair, long tresses, long, beautiful braided hair, walking around with their hair braided with gold and silvers. We never had this garbage like when we look at a woman's face, it's offensive to us. When we look at a woman's hand, her bare hand is offensive. That's why in certain country, all where those women have to cover all themselves, all everything. This person is talking to you. You don't know what this person is. Certain things. We're not going to name the dress. That please don't type the dress in the comment, because if we do, they will flag this video as hatred and stuff. Okay, there are certain country, brothers, and certain religion, which will not say which religion. The women over there is like the worst, especially the Catholic religion. So, especially the Catholic religion, women are considering the devil because they were the one that tempted the devil. That is why the Catholic priest said it is better to lie with another Adam than to do anything with the Eve. That's why they promote Adam and Adam, because this is a very strong. They still believe that. They never repent from that. If you ask them, they still believe. They never said anything from that. Yep. And then, brothers, in certain country, what they do, boy, I'm going way off, but it's just to show you the protocols. This is gonna sound very offensive, very off, but it is true. Some of you know the proper name. You can type it here if you don't know. I'm gonna say it on code because the little ones, I don't want to terrify them. And some of those country, brothers, the so-called women, they also fix on the women sexuality and sensuality, things like that. When this woman is born as a little girl, as long as the moment she reach puberty, there's a specific part in her portal. They remove that. They cut that. They remove it. Just like men, they perform quote unquote circumcision. They do circumcision in women, but much more brutal. They remove it for one reason, because they said because a woman when she has this, she's more likely to, open the bakery, a bunch of men coming over there because she always in heat and stuff like that. Yeah, mutilation. Because of certain religion, certain group of people still performing this because that's their belief. And this female grow up and become a woman. And when she come to this country like this, she saw all the women portals. It looks different. And they're like, what is this? Why you have this? Well, I was born with it. How? Till now, they don't know that, brothers. Till now, some of them, they never seen it. They don't know what it is. It's been removed from birth. Oh, yes, the so-called Middle East is notorious for things like that. Notorious. Yeah. So, with that being said, brothers, let us move on. Those things are very serious. A lot of culture. You have to know those cultures so you will not offended people or say something you shouldn't say. Now, so they came in to pick up Sesostris. They sent a delegation to pick up the prince Sesostris of Phoenicia to send him to that place over there to go see the queen. Now, Sesostris noticed something. He actually is like, what the hell is going on? Why are you Egyptian are doing this? This is what he saw. Now, he saw they come and then pick him up in a chariot. Okay. The chariot was gorgeously ornamented by the sides with ornaments of light open work. It was linen with crimson silk, which was visible through the intersections of the open carvings. These chariots has two wheels. The pole projected from the middle of the axle and was bent upward and at short distance from the body of the carriages. At the end of the pole, the yoke was fastening on each horse attached by the car by a single trace, exceeding on the inner side from the. Okay, so now he's describing the chariot. So the Egyptian brothers, they were known back then in that time, 4, 5, 6,000 years ago, as the most powerful people, and they had the most powerful chariots. You could not keep up with the Egyptian chariots. That is why they catch with Moses so fast. Moses was like days ahead. Their chariots catch up with Moses. That's what the Mosai like to refer as. He broke in the chariots of Pharaoh and then sunk them in the middle of the sea. Those guys' horses were very, very, very fast. Oh yeah, the ride was beautiful. Was a pimped up ride because they had the money. Somebody was making those money for them. But he noticed something in Phoenicia. When you're riding in a chariot, everybody sit down. There's chair. Everybody sit down. But he noticed in the Egyptian chariots, you stand up because all the chariots are chariots of war. And the Egyptians have so many horses. How the hell you have many bunch of those horses in that desert over there? Those horses will die. Those people don't have that much horses. They got a bunch of camels over there. They are talking about this Egypt here. He noticed something that in the chariots, brothers, and both sides, there is quill. Is that what they call it? Quiver. You know those things you put those arrows? They have quiver in both sides. On the right side, there's quiver, and the left side there's quiver. And you can take because those chariots are made for two: the driver and the shooter, the guy that shoot the arrow. So now when the driver is driving and the guys that shoot the arrow on the right side, and then if he saw something on the left, he quickly turn around and grab arrows on the left and shoot on the left. So he can shoot on the right, shoot on the left, shoot on the front, and shoot on the back. It was a military thing. Their chariots were pretty fast. And he told the mother, they got weird stuff. Everything is so weird. Chariot that they have in Phoenicia or pool, they got chairs and stuff like that. But he saw one of the chariots. There was a princess, or so to speak. She actually, they put up a chair for her, so she sit on the chair. But normally Egyptian chariots, they are quote unquote military chariots. That is why, brothers, Egypt, there is a law. We talk about this, but it's gonna sound painful, but we have to say it. There's a law in the Bible that when us Israelites go and war, for those of you who remember that law in the book of the throne of David, when we go to war with another nation and we beat this nation and they have a lot of horses, there is a word, technically I forgot the word, that we do. We actually maim those horses. We cut their Achilles tendon. Ugh. David ended up cutting the Achilles tendons of like 2,000 or 3,000 horses, because what the reason why the Mosai does this, because Egypt has a lot of horses and chariots. No, and not castrate, brothers. There's a word for this. The people when you cut the strings of the Achilles tendon, yeah, they maim those horses, because if Israel has too much horses, we will be. The Mosai want us to be a domestic protector. The Mosai want us to be a domestic army, a force, a domestic forces. The Most High don't want us to becoming to have a bunch of horses, and if you have those horses, you have the tendency of invading other country, just like Egypt. And not neutered, not neutered. There's a name for this in the book of the Throne of David. It's a weird name. It's a scientific name. Thank you, Girl 50. Hamstrings or hamstrings. Yeah, hamstrings. So that is why the Most High have to add David hamstrings the horses of Philistia and other countries. Take a few, like 100, 200, the rest thousands, you hamstrings them. If you leave them to go away like this, the enemy will retrieve them and then come back at you. You hamstrings them. You cut the Achilles tendon. Again, like I explained, brothers, if you the reason why this law is in there, because the Israelites used to do this. They used to have so many horses, they become aggressive, they become like Egyptians. They keep invading people with the horses because the horses are fast. So before them to prevent them from, because they're freaking two-third, for them to prevent that, they have to maim that horse. So that's remember, if a horse, the leg of this horse is broken, that's it, this horse is done. Enough about horses. Let us go through this. Now, like I said, there was no seat for the Egyptians staying in their chariots as more dignified and commanding attitude, a custom probably derived from the necessity of doing so in the war chariots in order to combat. So that's what he said. He said those chariots, they were war. I mean, I have that thing, and that's why he was so hot and burning. I didn't even notice this. Oh boy. So they had war chariots, so they don't have seats. Okay, yeah, it's a horrible thing, but this the freaking two-third keep doing stuff, and then the Most High have to keep coming with rules so he can do stuff. The day was bright, as it always in Egypt, with the cloudless sun. It lighted up the long lines of palace. Brothers, this is very important when they keep saying this. They keep saying that the day was bright, as it always is in Egypt, with the cloudless sun. Always bright. Unless if it's raining, you can see the cloud. That is the reason why you see all those planes over there spraying. That is the reason why you always see those planes all doing this in our country. Certain places, they don't do this. On the Holy Lands, you always see those planes spraying because they don't want you to see the sky. There are certain things, there are certain signs they are hiding. A lot of people say they want to make you say, oh, hell no. Those people know better than that. They are blocking the signs because the Most High is communicated to the sky. That's why they're always chemtrailing that baby, because they don't want you to see the clearness of the sky. All right? That's why at night you barely can see the stars, because it's all foggy. Okay, yeah. They won't do it in certain country. They will do it over here in the Holy Lands and stuff. All right. It light up the long lines of palaces where dwelt priests and nobles, illuminated the pupilla of the temples, burnished the lakes, gilded the obelisk, and flooded the whole city of the sun with magnificence. For there is a splendor and glory in the sunshine of Egypt, unknown in other lands. Okay? Listen to this, brothers. Listen to this. For there is a splendor and glory in the sunshine of Egypt, unknown in other lands. That means the land of Egypt is closer to the sky. It's closer to the sun. Which land that is closer to the sky? Which land they have the best laboratories observation, their celestial observation over here on the fourth part, because it's closer to the heaven. We're closer to the Most High. Boy, for a glorious in Egypt, unknown in other lands. The result is anyway, I just need somebody. Yeah, the fourth part. All right. There is a splendor. Well, okay, we heard that. Unknown in other lands. The result of the purity of the crystalline atmosphere. You heard that, brothers? Crystalline atmosphere. That means it's so clear, crystal clear. That is why, brothers, the old man Druids taught us broad daylight back then. You could look up the sky, you could see the planet Jupiter. You could look up the sky, you see Saturn. You could look up broad daylight, you see a Mercury. You could look up the sky, you see the moon of this planet. You could see them. It's crystalline atmosphere, pristine clear. As they say in my language, clear good look. Anyway, my charioteer dashed onward, as if great speed was a warrior pace. Before me run footmen with wands clearing the avenue. Okay? That's a great possession right there. So before him, and then the charioteer just, you know, we are in page 46. Then again, like I said in the book, we're on page 46, but I jump pages because I go faster like this. You know, I let the Mosai beam things into my head. Now, brothers, they were in the possession. It was a possession. A possession. I think that's the correct words. It was like a noble possession. There are multiple chariots, and then everybody in line, and then they say go, and then the chariots start running, and then you got a bunch of dudes, a bunch of possession. Is that what that is? All right, I say possession as a demon possession. All right, forgive me for that, but it's possession. So now you got like all those guys running in the street, a bunch of soldiers clearing the way with the ones like get the hell out of the way. You know, drunk ass scumbag walking around and trying to get a case, getting run and hit by freaking horses of the royal family so they can get some gold. So they were clearing the street. Get the hell out of the way. Make way, princes and nobles. Get the hell out of the streets, you scumbags. Make way, you fools. Make way. So they were making ways, and people were and they were going with the chariots and stuff like that. And behind came the swift-footed returners, which on each side of me rolled the true chariots. Archeries, my secretary, so he had a secretary there, rode new upon an Arabian courser, and his superb seat and the saddle of his masterly horsemanship drew the applause of the Egyptian, who are better charioteers than horsemen. Now, because they were doing this, brothers, and then you got brother. Listen, this is what it was. This is like a whole. This is. It was a Hollywood thing. You got people on the both sides cheering and stuff. Oh my God, you look so beautiful and stuff. Oh, and stuff. What's your Instagram and stuff? Back then, you know, and stuff. Instagram, you know, they got like just giant tablet that you sculpted. The scribe will make your, you know, your picture, you know, standing like this and stuff. All this comeback stuff. So the people were there and then cheering up and stuff, and then they're like telling them to get the hell out of the way. And a lot of people there, aka paparazzi. Okay, they were doing that. Thank you. A red carpet even. Thank you, Baudelaire. Boy, I struggle with words. Anyway, it was a red carpet even. Okay, red carpet treatment. And then Sesostris is about to meet, you know, the stuff like that. So, you know, he about to meet the queen. So he's on his way to meet the queen. Again, brothers, those are protocols. That's how it was back then. Okay. After a dashing ride of a mile, we enter a vast square, which I had not before seen. Again, he could have just walked there like a mile, but the grandeur, to show him like, yo, we got a lot of money that we earned by ourselves. Nobody slaved for us. They took him on a mile of a 1 mile run, and horses and people both sides cheering, throwing flowers. You know, some of those Egyptian women are throwing the cover of the oven on him and like, hey, yeah, what up, what's going on here? And stuff. I'm Sesostris, Prince of Phoenicia, and, you know, I've come here to visit 1 mile. And then they just get there and stuff. So it extends 2,000 feet each way, and he's describing the place that he's getting here. It extends, let me see. In the center was a calm lake basking in the sunshine. Around this lake was about. Whoa, I think I put my phone in silent. My mother could have called me. Yeah, let me see. All right. Let's see. All right, she called. She called. So. And on this lake was a border of palm trees, then a border of orange trees. Brothers, what's beautiful palm trees and orange trees filled with the singing birds, while in the shade walked group of handsomely attired people, and children enjoyed themselves and played. Upon the lake, ornament pleasures, galley were moving in various directions, and the spirit of enjoyment pervaded the whole scene. Around this grand square with its lake, its central lake, were arranged as follow. On the north side, a superb colonnade of sculptured columns forming the facade of the temple of Nevis, the sacred ox of On. At the gate of Popila, of which crowd two sphinxes with majestic human heads. On the west side was a vast paved area on the center of the which. So, brothers, he's describing a red carpet event in Times Square. People both sides, statues, children are running, and people are enjoying themselves. It was a festival. People are dancing, and then the procession, it's still coming. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This area is enclosed by the royal armory. Now he got to a place, brothers. He got to a place, armory. Okay, we know an armory. That's where they put weapon. Okay. This area is enclosed by the royal armory, an edifice expressive of strength and grandeur. It is massive and warlike proportions. For those of you that are in the army, well, they still call them armory, but they get to the, oh man, brothers, my donkey is killing me. Let me put some something on this damn chair. Oh, give me a second. Oh. There we go. That's much bread. Yeah. So he got to an armory, to where they store their weapon, the royal weapon. Okay, he got there, and it's beautiful. They got all sort of weapon, massive warlike. The Most High did, well, our people did bless them, and stuff like that. Okay. A warlike proportion. On the east is a pyramid 200 feet high, in front of which sphinxes with head of women and bodies and birds repose, while on each side extended a range of noble pylons opening into avenues that led to interior courts. This singular edifice is the temple of Re or Ra. So after the armory, he entered the temple of Re, that they call it back then, Ra, which is we know now. And sometimes gives in the name of the city Re, being also another name for the sun, like we were saying. On the fourth side of this stupendous area rises a grand palace which occupied the whole place of the breadth of the square. I can only describe the front of this royal palace by the representing it as a city of columns. Beautiful. The columns were going as far as the eyes can see on both sides. The lake is running on both sides, trees and oranges and birds and singing. Beautiful land. When they describe this land to you, that land looked nothing like that freaking desert, in the Middle East. It's just beautiful. When you're like, okay, what the hell? This is not Egypt. Nobody said they see a camel or some Arab dude taking a deuce in the middle of the desert and wipe his ass with a rock, a very sharp rock. What the hell? You don't see things like that. It's talking about the fourth part here, brethren. Which in their turn are sculptured and adorned in some profusion as to bewilder the eyes, which forms a beauty. Two sphinxes of colossal proportions with the bodies of lions and the heads of beautiful women wearing double crowns guard the entrance to this august place, okay, palace or palace. Upon the terrace to which a flight of board steps ascending stood the royal guard of the palace like statues, each of them 100 Theban soldiers leaning upon his spear, which is over shield resting against his side. So when they get to this palace, they see each side 100 soldiers standing there with their shield, with their spears, holding their spears and their shield in their hand, guarding the place. They are Thebans or from Thebes, Hamites and stuff, so to speak. I'm not quite sure. And then they were standing there, 200, 100 on each side, and then they were walking in the middle, okay? Right after the columns and the trees and all that beautiful land and all the women dancing. There was music while playing, brothers. And guess what? I don't want to spoil you. For some of you will catch my drift when I read this verse. You're like, what? But that's what it says. We drove up in front, in between the heads of the sphinxes. I alighted, okay? The moment I did so, the Theban guard stood up their arms, and the captain with the glittering helmet upon his head and holding his sword in his hand reversed, descent to receive me. So this place was highly guarded. So when he get out of when he get to the place, he quote unquote made a mistake. I could say that's what I'm sensing what he made. And then he run a little ahead, and all the guard that was there, they reversed their swords. Everybody pull up the sword. This is like a warning. They weren't attacking him because they know he didn't know. They pulled the sword as a warning. So the captain saw that, and then he'd run, and then he'd go ahead and meet him, and then everybody, put the sword, the stuff back. That's like. If that place had that type of security on January 6th, none of this nonsense would have happened. Yeah, but they didn't have that security. They had a bunch of other scumbags like them working over there and opened the door for more scumbag to get in. Escorted by him and followed by the Grand Chamberlain, I ascended to the terrace, saluted by the guard, in which the honors paid to royalty. All right? The terrace was, brothers, listen to this. The terrace was surrounded with the statue of the kings of this dynasty. The terrace was surrounded with the statues of the kings of this dynasty and of the Theban pharaohs, but the Phoenician pharaohs are not now numbered among the kings of Egypt. I'm not quite sure if you catch my drift. What they did here, brothers, Egypt got swagger jack, right? The Egypt was ruling by the 12 shepherds kings, the 12 tribes of Israel. We were ruling Egypt. Now, what happened is they remove the statues of the people. Well, again, they put their own statues in there. They put the statue of the dynasty of the people that were ruling recently, not the people that used to rule. Okay? Whitewash. That's a term for whitewash. You understand that? You say, wait a minute. What the hell? Those people don't look like, anyway. Who are those? Okay, anyway, whatever. The terrace led into a circular hall, which was richly carved, gilded, and painted with historic scene. Oh boy, at 10 o'clock, brothers, we'll take a little break, okay? Always swagger jacking. At 10 o'clock, we'll take a little break. I have some stuff I'm going to read and drink some water. Some of you might want to use the bathroom. Just remind me that at 10 o'clock. Even though we don't have a fast, I'll blow that shofar thing that I have over there. All right, so the terrace led into a circular hall, which was richly carved, gilded, and painted with historic scene, battle pieces and naval combat. So when he was working in the war, he saw like the battle. They painted the history again, the whitewash and everything. They paint the history, the battle, and then they put the trophies and stuff and things. They put the stuff. Oh, this over here. As you can see, this is for Civil War. This sword is used to belong to our forefather Grant, Ulysses Grant. Despite what you said about it, you heard about his alcoholism, he was a great guy. But those are things and stuff, they put that stuff. They always like to do this, put it in your face so they can rub it in your face. Now, conspicuous upon a panel directly in front of the entrance was the representation of the expulsion of the shepherd kings from Memphis. Define this word: expulsion. EXPULS. What am I doing that? Boy, why did I skip elementary school? Anyway, EXPULSION. Expulsion. Somebody define this word for me. Expulsion. I'm enjoying this water. Like I say, brothers, whoever the scumbag that say the water doesn't have any energy can go eat a giant, massive, steamy, hot cake. Or what the... There we go. Expulsion. We need the proper... give me a sec. Expulsion. The action of forcing someone to leave an organization, the expulsion of an union, the action of exiling, to exile, to push someone out, to remove by membership. You remove this person, you remove those membership, okay, of the 12 shepherd kings. Who were the 12 shepherd kings, brethren? Who were the 12 shepherd kings? Put it in the comments so the people would know. Expulsion of the 12, removed by force. Removed to force. Suspended, removed. They removed them. They forced them. The patriarchs, our forefathers, those were our people. Now you understand when they say, I took Moses, or I cannot turn, I cannot turn reincarnated. Those brothers, they may sound crazy, but it's true. Those were our people. That's why a lot of people are fighting. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm an Egyptian. I'm from Egypt. And I freaking laugh at both of them. Like, you scumbag. Both of you are the same people. It's just like they changed the name and they whitewash. Just like they whitewash things here, they do the same thing. They exclude, they expel, they expel from our people. And then they put their own in there. Conspicuous upon the panel directly in front of the entrance was the representation of the expulsion of the shepherd kings from Memphis, and the faces of the monarchs Amosis and Amunophis, the immediate ancestors of Prince Ramesses. So now he doesn't know, brothers. He thought Amosis, he thought Amosis and Amunophis is the ancestors of Moses. That's what he thought. Checkmate. I'm gonna have to start saying this. Checkmate. The most I checkmate this dude right there. Listen, conspicuous upon a panel directly in front of the entrance was the representation of the expulsion of the shepherd kings from Memphis. So they have a place like they put the history of them kicking the shepherd kings out of Egypt. Okay, who did this? Moses and Amunophis, the father of Amense, the father of the queen. He said the father of the queen, the immediate ancestors of Prince Ramesses of Moses. He said those are the king that did this, and Amosis and Amunophis is the immediate ancestors of Prince Ramesses, but I see no resemblance to him. His style of face is wholly different from the heroes of the dynasty to which he belongs. His features have a nobler cast and seems to belong to a man of a higher intellectual development, and no doubt he is superior to all other Egyptians, for as young as he is, and his name is already associated with all his wise and great and true. Checkmate. The Most High checkmate them right there. When the dude look at the people, he look at the king that did this. He look at Amosis. He look at Amunosis, the ancestor of Ramesses. And he's like, what the hell is going? Moses don't look nothing like those people. Moses' face is nobler. He looked like he's wiser and more intellectual, and he already accomplished more in his life than all of those kings combined together, brothers and sisters. He made a clear difference. He's like, what the? How those people are the ancestor of Moses? You see, brothers, that's like, brethren, take somebody that never heard of breakdancing, hip hop, somebody that never heard of it. But they come to hip hop, but who they see doing hip hop is Eminem, and they see that that fellow doing breakdance, and then they see the black Michael Jackson dancing, and then they see James Brown dancing, and they see the dudes crack walking in the street. Something will move upon you, brothers. You're like, wait a minute. What's going on here? Who invented this stuff? I don't think you... wait a minute. When they hear the sister Aretha Franklin singing, and they were Adele, when they hear the beloved sister Lauryn Hill rapping and singing, and then they are reading Billie Eilish. What the... Wait, what is this? There's two different people here. He understand that when he saw Moses, he said, Moses looked nothing like those people. He's much better. He's much better. It's like that dude come in the 90s. He heard Biggie Smalls rapping, and then they told him Mark Wahlberg, when he was a rapper, he's better. He's the greatest rapper ever. And then he was impressed. He never heard of rap. He heard Mark Wahlberg do a little funky stuff, do a little funky too. Don't do drugs and stuff. And then he heard Biggie. And next he moved to this guy, Shabba Ranks, Dembo. Shabba Ranks made one song called Dembo. Dembo was the epitome of reggaeton. Did they ever give Shabba and the Jamaicans credit? Those so-called Spanish people, they said they invented that. Some of them, they have respect onto this. Did they ever give the Jamaican Shabba for reggae? Bob Marley and other people are saying Robert Nesta Marley his father was white, but Bob Marley did not invent reggae. Reggae was all those things. Did they ever give those people credit? But when you see this, brothers, you're like, wait a minute. There's a rhythm. Our people move to a rhythm. The way our people are singing, you feel like it's effortless. You feel like it's embedding in those people. You feel like it's natural to them. But a certain group of people, when they start doing this, brothers, they are stiff. It's like, wait a minute. Please, man. You're embarrassing me, then you're embarrassing yourself. That's what that dude just said here. The Mosai checkmate them. There's one thing that Moses have. Those people don't have it. Why did they remove this dynasty? Moses don't look nothing like this dynasty. He looked like the previous dynasties that they kicked out. He's sensing it. Always swagger jacking, man. Those people never stop swagger jacking us, man. His style of face is wholly different from the heroes of the dynasty which he belongs. His features have a nobler cast and seems to belong to a man of higher intellectual development. And no doubt, he's superior to all Egyptians, for young as he is, his name is already associated with all that wise and great and true. The entablature, somebody define this name, entablature. 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 The entablature of the next hall we entered was a wonderful sculpture. It is represented as a circle of beautiful girls chained together by wreath of flowers, and with interlaces arms bending over and smiling down upon those in the hall, each extend a hand wave holding a vase. Next, they enter a room, brothers. There's giant statues of beautiful women, a group of bunch of women locking hand. They are statues. He was walking, he could see them. The statues were taller, and they bent over with vases in their hand that like they are pouring water, smiling. And then he was walking. He looked at those statues and beautiful place. Beautiful place. You already defined that word? I wasn't looking. All right. There was a unity of design in the whole of the interior of that adytum. I'm not quite sure what adytum means. Adytum. Adytum. Adytum or presence chamber with the distribution of light and the groups of figures showing by it of the walls. Entablature related to architecture, a horizontal continual lintel of classical buildings supported by columns of wall. So you can picture this was like a column of walls, and then there were like statues of women with vases pouring some type of water, all this stuff and things. Yes, that surpasses any apartment. This adytum or presence chamber with the distribution of light and the groups of figures shown by it on the walls that surpassed any apartment I had seen yet. As I enter, drink a little water, man. As I entered, damn it, as I entered this enchanted hall, the martial music which had held me as I came into the outer vestibule ceased. Brothers, let me read this again. Adytum, the innermost sanctuary of an ancient Greek temple. More swagger jack. More swagger jack. Greek temple. Greek temple, the little one, my donkey. Anyway, as I entered this enchanted hall, the martial music which had hailed me as I came in into the outer vestibule ceased. When he was coming, brothers, there was a music playing. And then when he reached the inside of the hall, the music stopped. And was succeeded by the most ravishing sounds of instrumental music from an unseen source. Oh, brothers, look, as I entered this enchanted hall, the martial music which had held me as I came into the outer vestibule ceased, so the music stopped, and it was succeeded by the most ravishing sounds of instrumental music from an unseen source. That means when he was scamming, nobody played music better than a certain group. This group of, I don't know, brothers. He heard the music playing, the marching music was playing. And then when he came in, the music, pem, 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 it stopped. He look around, he doesn't see where that music is coming from. He doesn't see the source of the music. For those of you who understand and catch my drift, you know what he's talking about. You know where that source of music came from. He heard the music stopped. And stopped beautifully. And then he kept walking. That means back then, this technology that we thought we had here, most likely they had it. Most likely they have this technology. Thank you, Sister Brandy Reyes. Thank you. This technology, when you go to a supermarket, when you go to Walgreens, you can hear the music, but you cannot see the people that are playing it. You're looking for the music. You're like, who's playing this good music? When you're shopping in a silent supermarket, you can hear the music, but you cannot see who's playing it. Technically, that's what he told you here. The music ceased from an unseen source. Beautiful music. It could be pipe music, but brothers, look, if you have an orchestra as the queen and king, if you have an orchestra, you try to attain, you try to somewhat receive a guest, you will want that guest to see this orchestra. You will want that guest to see your orchestra playing. If he could not see the orchestra, that means they were playing through something, okay? They were playing to something, some type of speakerphone. It may be not the same as the one that we have, but some type of technology they had back then. Now let us read what else, what kind of technology that they had. I would have lingered, but there advanced a beautiful youth, all clad in gold and purple. It seems to me so richly was the attire, who said, the queen desired to meet to conduct the noble prince of Tyre to her appearance. I follow. And before him, open as if by their own volition. Brothers, define the word volition. VOLITION. Their own, as if by their own volition. I follow. So there's a boy, there's a beautiful boy that came in. When you look at that boy, like, who's this beautiful boy? And then this beautiful boy came in. He said, the queen wished to see you, Prince of Tyre. And then the boy walked to the door, this giant door, as if by the one volition of the door, both doors open. And then he followed the boy and walking. I follow, and before him, this is page 48. I follow, and before him open, as if by their own volition, a pair of two-leaved door of ivory inlaid with emeralds. Volition, faculty or power of using one's will. That means the door by itself, without the boy do anything. Just like previously, brothers, okay? Just like previously, okay, volition faculty or power of using one's will without conscience volition, she back into her office. That means the same thing. Remember, he was working with the first dude, and the dude came to two giant freaking tall brass steel door, and he just waved his wand, and both door open, and he walked right there. And then now this boy just walk up to this door, both door open by themselves. In his country in Phoenicia, you got scumbag, two people holding rope and waiting for you. And then when you come in, they're like, hey, oh, hey, yep, hey, yeah. And then they open the door for you. And then when you get in, and then they push the door. But those doors, they open by themselves. Those doors were aware when somebody's approaching them, they will open. This is another technology of the ley line that they had, brethren. They had most likely they have one of our Atlantean crystal. Most likely. But brothers, understand this. We don't know. We're just studying. But we understand through the Holy Spirit, we understand they had our text over there. They had our text. Volition, by their own will, the door just opened. This is the second occasion, doors open by themselves. Well, the first one did really open by themselves. The dude waved the one at it. There's a sensor. He triggered the sensor, and then the door opened. This one, he just walked, and the door opened by itself. This guy that wrote the letter is not stupid. He will not say the servants opened the door and stuff. He said by their own volition, the door opened. Let us move in. The throne room. Give me a second. Oh boy, I think I got 3 more pages. Oh boy, all right, it's 10 o'clock, brothers. 10 o'clock. Thank you. All praises to the Most High. All praises. All right, let's take a little break. Let's take a little break, brother. Let me go get more water, and then we will come back after 5 minutes. All right. We will come back. Yeah. In this book, brothers, they're talking about what's inside of this pyramid. You'll find out what's inside of the pyramid. What the hell they have in there? Let's take a little break, brothers. Let's just chill for a moment. 5 minutes chill. I'll be back, brothers. We're gonna get some water. Brothers and sisters. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Yes, this is me reading some of the letters that the people have. This letter is from the beloved sister Jones, Caroline Jones, and we just received this. Shalom, brothers. Okay, this is the blessing. We are going to read the letter and then we will moving on. All right. This is from beloved sister Jones. This is your beloved sister Caroline Jones. I thank the Most High for you and your obedience to Him. You have changed my life. Because of your obedience to the Most High, I am no longer afraid of Jacob's trouble. All right. There we go. Oops. Okay. This is the letter that the beloved sister Jones, Caroline Jones, sent us in the nation, and she said, "This is your beloved sister Caroline Jones. I take the Most High for you and your obedience to Him. You have changed my life because of your obedience to the Most High. I am no longer afraid of Jacob's trouble." The camp, she named a camp here, brothers. Okay, a camp. The camp. Those guys are known to come after brother Ayal, and then recently they were that guy that always come after Big Judah. He was exposed for fellatio with women inside of the church, so they kick him out, and then I believe he's back now again. They kick him out and he came back in that camps. So just to know that, those camp out there, brethren, that's what they do. So the camp, she named the camp, had me very worried that it was Jacob's trouble. But for some reason, I couldn't believe it. I knew that the 400 years was up. I can tell you, brothers, 90% of our people, they never did believe Jacob's trouble, man. They asked themselves, how much more, Mosiah? How much more? How much more can we take? You already punish us with all those calamities. Then you're going to finish us up with 7 years. That is even worse if you take all the 400 years and all the 24 or 4, 5, 6,000 years, you combine it with the 400 years. That 7 years tribulation is going to be worse than that. How could that be possible? A lot of the people, they know that in the spirit, they know, like, wait a minute. Why? The Most High can't do this. This is not righteous. Keep in mind, the Most High can do everything he wants, but the Most High will not do this to his children. That means he did not keep the promise. Okay. I have always wanted. I have always watched a Big Judah, which helped. Then the Most High put you in my life. You said it's no longer Jacob's trouble. It's Esau's trouble and the Gentiles' tribulation. This confirms something in my spirit. Just like the beloved sister Lisa Cabral, she confirmed some suspicion that I was having from since 2007. It took me 7 years to find a confirmation that something was horribly wrong. And the sister was the one who first brought out Esau's trouble. She was the one who actually lifted up the skirt of Esau, fulfilling prophecies. For those of you who know this verse, the Most High said, will lift up the skirt of Esau. She was the one who brought the whole opioid thing to the table. They were hiding this opioid thing since the 70s. And because of the sister's obedience to the Most High, she brought it out. And next thing you know, the whole country is talking about it. It was a prophecy. Most people miss that, but I did understand it. And I understand it. I'm like, okay, this is it. That's the signal. And you start seeing brothers saying the curse is flipping to Esau because they never seen this, brothers. For those of you, remember there was a video out there, a brother. Back then, we didn't have the spirit upon us. We didn't know what was going on. There was a video out there of two Edomite people, a couple, a man and a woman, hide on opioid. And the brother put the video on Facebook. He was laughing at them. He mocked them. That was the Most High. And the people came in and said, why are you all laughing? You should have helped them and stuff. He mocked them. He said, look at you guys now. Look at this. The brother laughed. He mocked them. That was from the Most High. That was a signal the Most High said that those people are done. And the sister was fervently vigilant. Bring all those, how many people they were killing now. Because of that, brothers, they stopped putting information about the opioid out. For those of you who know this, I've been following the sister for the first time. She started the first channels, which they took down. They took 2 or 3 of her channels down. And then she said, nope, no more. Then she has 2 channels. She had Lisa Cabrera, the first one, and she got Lisa C. I'm a subscriber for both of them. I watch the sister closely. Okay. Now, I have not, brothers, this is very important. I have nothing but peace now. It is confirmed in my spirit. Thank you again for your fear, love, and obedience to the Father. For you have changed many lives because of the obedience. Just a little background. I have one, brothers, this is very important. Okay, this is some of you. The reason why I'm reading this, because some of you are dealing with this type of thing. And we actually went in multiple things related to that. Okay, just a little background. I have one son, Irving Jr., who loves the Most High. He lives in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. While I live in Oklahoma, also about 20 miles from each other. He was going to get married in 2019 to a Caucasian young lady, as though he thought. Come to find out, after 2 years of dating, he find out she was dabbling into witchcraft. This is a warning the Most High sent to you fellows out there. Those guys that quick to jump into bed and marry a women and stuff. You have to date these women. It doesn't work like that, brothers. It doesn't work. You just met this person, you go to and you get married so you can have sex. You get married so you can get access to the cookies. He was dating a witch. She was dabbling with witchcraft. And we told you a lot of people out there, they look normal. They look normal, brothers. But they are witches. A witch doesn't necessarily mean some old little lady with a freaking hat and a broom and a bunch of black cats flying over the moon. That's not a witch. Careful out there. After 2 years dating and he find out she was a witch. That's why some of you left a relationship and you go to another one, you're off top forever. You don't know what's going on. You can never keep a man. You can never keep a woman. All your relationships are upside down. That person drew and took your energy. You don't know what this person did to you, especially the so-called Christian. The so-called Christian, they are witches. They'll take everything. They'll mess you up. That's why, brother, some of you out there, Henson, thank you, brother Henson, or sister Henson, for that super sticker, I believe they call it. This channel is monitored. And we've been telling you, before you do anything with anybody, know this person first. Don't bring in that Christian mindset. But the pastor say I have to marry first. No, you don't. You don't know what marriage is. I can tell you, none of you know what marriage is. They put it, they messed up pretty much everything that we have in the books so they can throw us off. Use discernment. Marriage is not like I'm gonna come in front of this judge and vote something also we can do it. That's not what that means. I'm not going to speak on it, but this brother was dating a witch. All right. She had a daughter, 5 years old, called Lily, but her name on the birth certificate is Lilith. For those of you who know who Lilith is, Lilith, Satan's daughter, so to speak. To make a long story short, then he start dating a young Polynesian lady. They start dating in 2020. He soon find out she was using crystals on a Ouija board, asking questions about her future. He soon got rid of her, so now he's looking again. Everyone tells him how attractive he is, so looks is not the problem. We all praying God sends him a righteous woman. You understand this, brothers? We keep telling you, a lot of those people, especially people of other races, brothers, they are witches. Again, brothers, a Ouija board. Listen, when you dabble with those things, you are calling other spirits from other realm and use crystals, things you don't know what they are. You don't know how to use them. You will call spirits in your house. You will call spirits that will be bound and bind into your own spirit. You will never be able to get rid of them. If it is not a righteous man to get, you won't be able to get rid of them. Going out there, dating a bunch of strange women, going out there, you never really spent some time. This brother, he's the Mosai is in the midst of him. The Mosai is in the midst of him because the Mosai protecting him. He spent time with those women. He find out those are not women. Some of you are married to witches and warlocks. You don't even know that. We told you. For those of you remember, please let us know. We have a whole podcast going to this. I have been away from church since 2014 and never went back. After the 40-day fast, I kept going fasting Monday through Friday from sun up to sundown, liquids only. Those are the soldiers of the Most High, all right? April 1st, I will step back for a while and only fast on Thursday with you and the nation. I will go back 40 and 5 days a week when the Most High says to. This is just a little background. I hope that attach is for you and family an expression of a sisterly love. I hope that your darling daughter gets the babysitter of brother that she needed. Oh, sister, you won't believe it. You won't believe how that kid keep nagging me to death to bring her that sister. Because of that freaking other kid she keep watching on Facebook, having a sister, and somehow they have a freaking zoo. And then she want a sister and a freaking giraffe. So now I gotta do something to come up with a freaking giraffe and a sister. Oh, good Lord. Has been asking for. All praises to our Heavenly Father. May He reign forever and evermore. Peace be with you always. Shalom. Carolyn Jones. Okay. She gave me her phone number and a way to contact her, because some of our people, brothers, they are seniors. They sent letters, and this is a clear message for all of you out there. I got much more stuff. Let me just quickly run to Brother Daryl Davis. Thank you, beloved brother. We receive everything. We receive everything, beloved brother. Everything is good. Thank you so much. There is a letter. The brother, I don't think the brother wrote something in there. Um, Beloved sister, Miss Donna Jones, we receive your letters. It's just I will go in depth, brothers. Some of the stuff, brothers, those are warning the Messiah is using his servant to warn your ass out there. Be extremely careful. Very, very careful, brothers. One sister sent me a letter. I was reading this letter. I'm shocked. I'm like, God damn. Thank you for the 40 days fast. Okay. This is another letter. We will begin in 2 minutes, brothers. Okay, from the 40-day fast. It seems during the 40 days fast, brothers, a lot happened. A lot of people got answered. A lot of the people got delivered. So, Miss Donna, Sister Caroline Jones, let me see, the beloved sister. Boy, I forgot the name in there, but it's the beloved sister to Betty Marks. Sister Betty, I'm going to send you. Well, I did send the sister the 24, the 24 righteous angels. So all those sisters and brothers, excuse me, they sent stuff. So we will read them in one of the podcasts, brothers. Be careful out there, brothers. Be careful out there, please. Don't go around. A lot of those people out there, brothers, when they watch those celebrities, when they watch those people with monies, they will do anything to be just like them. It's a Ouija board. It's one of those quote unquote demonic boards. It used to be a game, a mere game. Yet they took it, they bind it with the spirits of demons, and they messed up everything. It used to be a beautiful game, just like game of chess or checkerboard. You can't even mention the game of chess. If you say the Mosai is the master chess player, you got scumbag out there. You're saying the Mosai is your Freemason. Yeah, the Mosai is your Freemason because the Mason use the checkerboard and stuff like that. Yo, you stay in the second floor, open the window, and then jump out. Brothers and sisters, let us move in. We're done with this. Let us move in, brothers. All praises to the Mosai. All right. All right. I forgot to blow the shofar, but let us move because the time is against us. All right. Now let's read this again, brothers. I follow and before him opened, that is by their own volition, or volition, a pair of two-leaved doors of ivory and laid with emeralds. The throne room stood before me, if an apartment 1,000 feet across may be termed as a room. I stood at the threshold of a chamber surrounded by columns and all that. So he get into the room and stuff. There are so many beautiful things. The door opened by itself. The music stopped playing. He could not see who was playing the music. All beautiful Atlantean technology. All of this is in there. I advanced, led by the beautiful page, whose fine black eyes and long lashes, arc brow, and aquiline nose, I recognized the now well-known lineaments of the Hebrew race. So that little boy that he met, that youth, was a Hebrew boy. Was a Hebrew boy. He was a little Hebrew young man. I advanced, led by the beautiful page, and whose fine black eyes and long lashes, arc brow, and aquiline nose, I recognized the now well-known lineaments of the Hebrew race. He moved with his eyes cast down, okay, because he was like a slave. I experienced, my dear mother, a public reception so august means grand, big, So August, not a little embarrassment, but I repress it and endeavor to receive this honor at the greatest court on earth with an ease and self-comment to become my rank. Okay, so he's working with the boy, and the boy is working with his face down and stuff. But he look at that little boy, he's like, this is a Hebrew right there. So back then, you could make a very clear difference between a Hebrew. You could make a difference between the facial expression of a Hebrew and a fully born, Egyptian. This he come to a place, okay. This noble platform was square, and each of the four corners crouched a lion. Those are the statues. This is what it says. He's describing this place. This noble platform was squared, and at each of the four corners crouched a lion, respectively with the head of a eagle, a sea dragon, no doubt a fabulous monster. A sea dragon, no doubt. He made it clear. He said, "This is a sea dragon, no doubt." That means they have so-called sea dragon. The Most High most likely give them command not to show themselves. Yeah, Leviathan, brothers. Leviathan simply mean a monster, a sea monster, a huge monster. A form of blue whale can be a leviathan because they never known. If you see if you see an animal bigger than a blue whale, it's a leviathan. It's a giant sea monster. That's all it means. He said, no doubt, this is a sea dragon, no doubt, because they used to see them. All right, a bull and a man, all figures representing the four kingdoms of the air, the sea, the earth, and the intellect of soul or soul. These four colossal beasts face inward towards the throne to signify that they beheld and its occupant, their mistresses and sovereign, upon their heads were crowned, namely of Thebes, Memphis, Re, and Ethiopia. All right. So he enter a room, brothers. There are so many things in there, so many representation, so many representations, so many things in there. Beautiful, brother, beautiful, brethren and sister, beautiful. The platform upon he is describing the stuff, so I don't want to talk too loud because this is describing. The platform upon the angles of which crouched this majestic feature was ascending by 4 flight of step of red sign stop. So everything that is in there, brothers, are symbolic. They signify something. The four corners of the earth, the four element, water, fire, earth, and air, and things like that. Okay. So all there's a bunch of things in there, but he saw one seat. He saw one chair. The seat was a single pearl, a gift from the queen of End to Amu Nophis, the great father of Amense. So kings and queens back then, brothers, they used to send each other's gifts, expensive gifts. I believe in the comic book Aquaman has this gold this gold armor that is wearing. The armor was given to him by King Shark, one of the king. He gave him an armor. He's given this armor is unpenetrable. And I believe in one of the comic book that I read, one of the king, he gave another king a sword that can cut through anything. And the Avengers, the father, the Black Panther, the first Black Panther, the father of the current Black Panther, gave Captain America his shield, the vibranium shield. Those are things the Most High put in the movie and said, we are the one who give the people. He gave America the power. Okay, he gave America the power, vibranium. He gave Captain America the vibranium shield. That shield keep throwing around like, acting like his ease. And I believe in one of the comic book, the current Captain Black Panther went after Captain America, and then he took the shield from me. He said this was stolen. He said, "No, your father gave this to me as a present." He said, "No, your people stole it. They said it was a present, but your scumbag stole it." Okay, back then that's our king and queen's deal. All right, so he's describing a room. There's a bunch of stuff like there and stuff like that. Now, brothers, understand this. You have to know the difference between the Egypt over there and that Egypt that we are in now. And you will know that difference. The Egypt that is over there is in the middle of a desert. This Egypt over there had a canal built by men onto it. They claim this canal was built in the 1910s or 20s, but some sources that canal was built by the Hebrews or something like that. They claim a bunch of things, but they say this canal was built thousands of years ago by a group of people. But let's say they have this canal over there, okay? Let's see what happened. I want you to understand me on this. He get into a room. Just pay attention for a little moment. High above the throne was a canopy of blue silk extending over the whole dais or desk, and representing the signs of the heavens when Amense was born, with the preceding constellation delineated in his vertical position. Imagine this court of the throne, a peristyle of aquamarine and white column, beautiful, a beautiful blue, a sea blue, aquamarine blue with white, with ivory white column, with capitals carved in imitation of flowers, and the shaft enriched by painting and sculpture, surrounding it with gorgeously attired courtiers, their eyes fixed upon the queen. Behold, at the steps of the dais, the highest officer of a court await the looks for homage. The reason why he described this, brothers, back then they had something they call the courtroom. The courtroom and the courtiers and stuff like that. Those are the suck up, for lack of a better word. Back then, the court used to have a lot of people in there. They have to have musician, and then they used to have. Which one of you, before I go any further, which one of you are familiar with that movie, The History of the World Part One? Remember in that movie, and the French king was working, and there is a dude there with a bucket over there, and then he hold the bucket anytime somebody want to pee, and then he will come with the bucket, and then that person will just whip it out, and then right in the middle, right in front of everybody, they will pee. Yeah, for those of you who are familiar with this movie, History of the World Part One. This movie show, it's all about us. This movie was all about us. It was all about us. Okay. King Louis, the black man, was taking down all those black folks that was ruling France. They were taking down. Really? No, nobody. No, nobody. Nobody didn't see that part. It was a funny. It was. Yeah, he was working with a bucket. So yeah, you got. Yeah. So yeah, they got people walking around with bucket. If you want to take a leak, men and women. Okay, and then they even got brothers. This is going to be disturbed. They got a bucket for pee, and they even got a bucket for deuces. When you take a deuces, you even got a dude that wipe things for you. Horrible things. No, that not the History Channel. The movies. Give me a second. Let me see if I. Oops. Let me see if I can put the scene in there. Let me see. Let me search for the scene. Brothers, back then they used to have a bunch of sticks. Some of the books I'm reading, I'm like, oh hell no. Okay, let me put it right here so the people can see. All right. I'm trying to search it so I put the link so people can see what. Okay. Uh, Okay, before they put the freaking commercial in there. Let me see. All right, this is the scene. Forgive me for sending this to you, but it's funny, but it's true. All right. For those of you, this is the link. Just jump to 1 minute and 30 seconds. Just jump to 1 minute and 30 seconds. This is the link. Just jump to 1 minute and 30 seconds. You'll see what I'm saying. It want like 1 minute and 20 seconds, and then you can come back if you wish and watch this. But let us move in, brothers. Back then, brothers, the courtroom, they used to have people walking around with bucket, and you can do number one and you can do number two with assistants. And they used to have courtier. The job of a courtier is to be there to suck up. Most of the people back then, they were narcissists till this day. A courtier is there to say, my king, man, you are the best king ever. You are the greatest king ever. So, my king, your kingdom is the best. I heard everybody, all the women want to get with you, my king. All the men, all the great princes want to marry your queen. You know what's going on out there? What happened? Did it fail? Okay, but did it fall on her feet? My mom keep dropping stuff. Yeah, so they will have, did you know courtiers, they used to start war? They used to start war. They used to come in the king and say, my king, see, this woman that you try to date, she only impressed by men that like to start trouble, like war. It doesn't have to be a big war. You see that little country over there? Just invade it, beat the crap out of them, and impressing her. And then this king will listen to those courtiers and then go ahead and invading a little country and beat and kill everybody. And the next thing you know, a noble, what happened, babe?
Oh, the plate fell on my hand.
Did it fall?
It fell on him, but it didn't break.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. So, a butt licker, a butt kisser, the coons. That's what the courtiers technically mean. All right. So they had courtiers. They got all those people over there. They got people walking around with food in their hand. They got the little stuff, and then you can drink. It was like a club. They got musicians playing, people reading poesy. They got people going in and out. You got a jester. They used to call them fools. Those guys that juggling thing. You got jester in the courtroom. It used to be beautiful and all that. Now, oops, that would have ended up badly. Oh, got this. Listen to this. He saw on the side called jester. Okay, on each side of the throne itself stand two military princes of her realm. One will come in her armies, and the other her navies. For those of you who catch my drift, the queen has two men. One of them, you need to watch the whole movie. I made a video. I made on my other channel, brother. I made a video profiling this movie. It tell a lot of truth. He tells about Jacob's trouble, where they hide Jacob's trouble. Let me see if I can get a link so you people can just save it. And save it to your computer so you can watch this video. It is very, very important for you to watch this video, and then it will show you what they were doing to you during Jacob's trouble. What they were doing to the people during Jacob's trouble. It's in this movie. All right. There you go. Now save this link on your computer. You don't have to watch the video now. Or if you wish, you can watch it now. I just put this link. This is part 1. What they were doing in this time, in medieval time, to our people. The Spanish Inquisition video. Yes, that's what it is. Sister Brandy know this. The Spanish Inquisition video. Okay. Save this link so you may watch the video later. Now, on each side of the throne itself stand the 2 military princes of her realm. One who commanded her armies, the other her navies. Now, brothers, you got this queen. She has 2 men on each side. One of the men, he commanded the armies. That means Egypt back then had multiple armies. Foot soldiers, chariots, horsemen, cavalier, all of those are armies. And the other dude, her navies. What the hell a land in the middle of a desert need not one navy, but navies. Multiple fleet of ship. You're in the middle of the desert. Why would you need ship for? Where are you going? You don't have sea, you don't have shore. Multiple navies. Why would you need navies? That means they are talking about the Egypt here. Those are clues that we now start seeing and we understand them. Their hands also, they are full of costume. They're high rank and glitter with jewels. Behind the throne, kneel through stately figures representing truth and justice, is a brilliant guard of honor called pages of the throne's room, who are sons and nobles and whose places in public is always near the person of the queen. So those are the high suck-up. So there are those high suck-up, those dudes that are always close to the queen. They're rich though, but they close the queen. Their hands are so laden with rings. There are so many rings in their hand that they appear rather like a chain of gold and jewels there their hand. They wear orange colored jewelry, a bonnet and necklace, and carry blue wands tipped with pearls. So those guys have one, but the tip of the one is blue. It's blue and with pearls, tipped with pearls instead of gold and stuff. That means they're on certain class. Each of the person that have the ones say, this guy over there, I went to your house over there, and then I believe I'm getting this type of food, that type of food. You use the one to point and to do certain stuff, because then again, brothers, we don't do anything with your freaking fingers. All right. So as I advance towards give me a second. All right, we got 2 pages left. As I advance towards the step of the dais, 2 chief officers in flowing linen robes and wearing chains of gold about their necks drew near when my Hebrew page fell back, giving them place. One of these dignified personages said to me in pure Syriac, for the Egyptians are learned in all polite tongues, we are sent to lead you to the foot of the stair of the 4 kingdoms. So they sent a dude to brothers. That's like he haven't even get close to the queen. He's in the middle to get close to the Pharaoh queen, and then they sent somebody to go get him and bring him close to the queen. They placed themselves one of each side of me, escort. That's not what I mean, but they escorted one, but not cookie escort, but they played themselves on one side of each of me. And as I came to the 7 steps, to my great joy, I beheld Prince Ramesses, aka Moses, descending them to welcome and receive me, for the majesty and glory and magnificence and novelty of the whole scene had nearly overwhelmed me with awe. Indeed, I felt as is verily advancing into the presence of 100 of the enthroned Osiris itself. He almost cried. It was so beautiful when you see Moses. This is the same it's this relation is the same relation that David has with Jonathan. Brothers, one older brother, one younger brother. When you see Moses is coming and then the music is playing, everybody looking there, and then he's coming in the scene overwhelming, but he didn't cry. He he just walked there and then he met with Moses. The prince looked more strikingly noble than in my first interview. He was attired with the utmost richness and looked the personifier of a kingly dignity. Brothers, technically the brothers keep telling you, Moses, when you see Moses looked like the true king and the true prince of Egypt. The people of Egypt, they don't look like the land. They don't look like the land belong to them. They don't look like they can be kings and queens. Moses does. He was now distinguished by the amplitude of his robes and their fineness, and girdled with ornament with the uaris or royal serpent. I have no idea what that is. All his garments were of the lighter and finest materials, instead of the heavy and costly stuff which formed the robes of state in Phoenicia and Assyria. For, as my own embroidered and heavy mantle showed me, such materials would be out of place in the climate of Palatial summer. This dude said the way Moses dressed, the pimping, the Moses pimp walk when Moses coming. He said, "Man, when I look at this dude, I just imagine. I'm talking about like the stuff that we walk." My mom is cooking something out there. Mom. Oh man, I can smell that chicken. Why are y'all doing this? I'm making a lesson here. Anyway, so when Moses is coming, and the dude say, "Man, damn it! When I'm seeing this pimp walk over there with all this stuff, all the stuff that we used to wear back in Phoenicia and Assyria, they are nothing but garbage. If we did wear those stuff in the summer, we come up in front of those people, they would have laughed at us. Those things are not good, you know." So, and that's what he said, Yeah. Well, he wore a gorgeous vesture embroidered with leaves, a silken sash wounded about his body, after the fashion of ancient Egyptian princes, which sash was divided into three folds, over which fell his upper garment of fine Persian cloth with long sleeves, also embroidered. The distinguishing marks of his ranks as a prince and son, and which hung down the side of his face, was the badge of the god Horus, terminating in a fringe of gold. So Moses has fringes back there. It was a style. Fringe of gold of a fashion worn only by this dynasty. With these badges was intertwined his braided lock of hair. So Moses had a braided lock of hair. He has a one dreadlock. Okay, he had one dreadlock. So the Egyptians used to do this. So Moses has one big ass dreadlock, of which I have before spoken. Okay, this costume is arbitrary and may not be changed, as the laws regulated for king, prince, a people thereof do I so particularly describe. So the clothes that Moses was wearing, it's by law. Only him and the high priest can wear those clothes. If they catch any sick son of a bitch out there with the clothes like that, they will take your head off. That was the law. Oh yes, Moses was brothers. If you read letter 3, Moses was a full walking pimp man, Papa Pimp. Moses, aka Papa Pimp. Moses was, damn. Moses was all over. With grace and dignity, he saluted me before the whole court, saying, "Noble prince, with pleasure I present to you my mother, the queen." They cannot hear me. Never. Noble prince, with pleasure, I present to you, to my mother, the queen. She's already proposes in your favor and welcomes you to her court with distinctions, becoming the heir of the throne of Phoenicia and our royal cousins. Moses come up to Sesostris. He says, Sesostris, welcome, Prince Sesostris. I present to you, because again, brothers, this is protocol. You don't walk and then present yourself to the queen. Did you, for those of you who are watching, which way they say, your majesty or my majesty? My majesty. May I have an audience? Or your majesty? Which one it is? My majesty or your majesty? Let me get some of that water before I go any further. Okay, shine bright. Say, if they say your majesty, anybody else? Your majesty or my majesty? Your majesty, your majesty, your majesty. Okay, your majesty or my majesty? Which one it says? I think your. All right, your majesty. Okay. I believe our people here are learned people. You know not to say my majesty. Oh, brother Larry, they would have taken your head off. If you say my majesty, your majesty, the majesty doesn't belong to you. What? You know a lot of people die like that. You don't go to the king or the queens and say, my majesty. Your majesty. The majesty belongs to you. The majesty of the Most High, his majesty. It doesn't belong to you. His glory. You cannot say, I'm going to give him my glory. Oh, hell no. Oh, brother, that would be very bad. Your majesty, my liege, my master. That's how you refer to the Most High. My liege, my master. May the king reign forever. May the king live forever. May the king prosper forever. Peace be upon the king. Those are protocol, brothers. Now you have to understand how those people address to their own people, so you may address to the Most High properly, because they swagger jack everything that we did. So, brethren, we have to learn from them so we can address the Most High properly in his own title. Be careful, very careful, when you're talking to royalty. They have protocol. Remember what happened to David when he ignored the Most High protocol during the procession of the ark? Remember what happened to Uzziah, when he tried to take the Most High glory? All right. What the hell I was? Boom, 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 boom. Home without a place. All right. Okay, so I bow. Yeah, he died. The Most High killed Uzziah. Uzziah. He killed him because he tried to take the Most High glory for himself. He had beasts pulling on the Ark of the Covenant instead of the Levites. The Most High killed him. The Most High have protocol, man. Brothers, it's not like he did this without knowing. He did this, he known this. In his heart, he know this. If you make a mistake, you call one of those wild people something you shouldn't, you didn't know that, they will forgive you. But if you do it, and to enrage them, to provoke them, that said, you won't never leave the court. I bowed in recognition of this courtesy. He's a prince, so he bowed to the queen. I bow in recognition of this courtesy, and Ramesses, taking my hand, led me up the steps of the dais. Again, you cannot approach a king and a queen by yourself. First, you need 2 or 3 people to speak. You have to tell one person, that person, if this person is not the daughter or related, It will tell another person that is closer to the king, and then the word will tell the king. You don't speak directly to the king and queen. You tell the messenger tell the captain tell the prince, and the prince tell the king. It was considered very rude to go over there and then talk directly to a king. Certain country you don't do this. And Moses take his hand, and Moses is bringing him to his mother. Amense seated upon her ivory throne, that's the queen, Amense, upon her ivory throne, awaited my approach. Rameses, leading me to with 3 paces of her footstool, said, with a low obeisance of mingled filial reverence and princely homage, Mother and Queen, I introduce you to your court, Sesostris, Prince of Tyre. I also did profound obeisance to the majesty of the presence near which I stood, and then fixed my eyes upon the mighty potent about to address me and present to her your original letter. Now, brothers, when he got to the queen, he bowed and he approached with his head down, and then the queen sitting on the throne, and Moses come, and then he smiled. He said, Mom and Queen, Mother and Queen, this is Prince Tyre, your court. You have to announce this person. Have you ever heard, brothers, somebody come in on somebody else's house unannounced, uninvited? This person didn't even call you, didn't invite him. You know, that's like, this is rude, man. 7 a.m. in the morning. You wake up once. No, this is me knocking on the door, woman. There's some scumbag at the door. You open the door. Oh, what's up, Big Levi, man? What's up, man? Got breakfast in here, dog. That person went into your fridge, open and take a pack of egg, turn on the stove, cracking egg, open the top, take a bottle of champagne. Yo, Big Levi, man, what's up with you, dog, man? I was watching your video last night, man, and that person drank for. This is very rude. Oh, there are people that do that, brothers. I know one brother that do things like that. Brother, if you want to come to my house, you call me first. You announce yourself. Brother Big Levi, you home, man? I'm about to swing by and see what's going on. Yeah, I'm home, Jude. Just come by and drop by, man. I'm picking up some Hennessy, a bottle of champagne and stuff. We just have a talk about stuff. Some people are extremely rude. They are very rude. They will not announce themselves. You didn't invite this person. They show up to your house. Brethren, even your friend, you've been friends forever. If you're going to see this man, going to this man's house, always announce yourself. Call him. If it happened, you show up to this person's house without announcing and invited, apologize first. Say, brother, I'm so sorry, man. I didn't call you and stuff, but I was in the neighborhood, an emergency pop up, this and this and this and that. You don't call anybody after 9 a.m. There's a rules of that. It's an unspoken rule. You don't call me. You can call me anytime, brothers. I'm a servant of the Most High. Therefore, I'm a servant unto you. Call me anytime. Except when I say, brothers, I'm going to do something. I am not going to be available. And then people, if you call me, you will not see me. The reason why I don't pick up a lot of phone calls because 90% of them are scam. Hola, este mustache is come on, man. Hello. This is Steve. I'm here to help you with your student loan. I don't have a freaking student loan. Oh, yeah, I know, but your name is in there. We can cut your debt by 50%. Hello. This is Stacia calling about your car warranty and insurance. I don't have none of this garbage. That's why my phone sometimes are in silent when I want to get some sleep. Those are called protocols, way to talk to people. You don't never go to a man as a man. You go to another man's house without him knowing it, and you go into his house and his wife is there. And then you invite yourself in. Even if she inviting you in, the first thing you ask, where is your husband? He's not here. Oh, all right. Well, then when he come back, tell him I check on him. I call him. I was going to check and see what's going on. Coming in, get some food and stuff. I wish I was gonna stay. I have something much more pressing in mind. I'm gonna go. You don't go and have dinner or food with the man, wife in his house. Even though you're this man best friend or anything like that, you don't do this. Even though she doesn't mean anything by that. So does for you women. This is very, very, very disrespectful. Back then, brothers, you don't, in the Wild West, you don't ride a cowboy horse without asking him. And number one, you don't even ask a cowboy to ride the horse. You don't touch a cowboy horse. Get your own horse, Negro. You don't bow another horse. That's exactly when you're in your house. This scumbag knock on your door, open your door, start cooking, drinking your stuff, and take your key, and I'm gonna go to the store. You just take your key and took your car and go somewhere else and party, and then come back and bring your car to you. And then you take your car, you're going to work, you change lane without putting your signal, you get pulled over by a cop. The cop asks you, "Can I search your car?" You're like, "You don't know." You're like, "Hey man, I don't have anything searching." And then while they're searching the car, they find a little weed in the back and they ask you, "What the hell is this?" You're like, "Hey, I don't know what that is." Oh, just like any other person. That scumbag took your car, partying with a bunch of whores and people. They dropped stuff and smoke in your car. They left residue in there. And now you're going to spend time in jail because you let some scumbag bow in your car. Brother, you never talk to a man's wife without this man being present. You, not only you don't talk to this man's wife, and the phone, texting, you don't text a man's wife, period. She texts you, do not answer. Call him and say, "Your wife just text me, ask for you. Everything all right?" If you say all right, you don't text her back. You don't do this, brothers. If you're a friend with another Negro, is your best friend, he went to jail, you go to this man's house, you make sure the children eat. You make sure the rent is paid. You make sure the wife has food in the house and she's happy until this man can temporarily or get away from whatever he's doing. If this man get into some type of issue, he's over the road driving a truck. You call him, you say, "Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and check on the kids." You make sure the kids are here as witness. You talk to them. If they need something, you provide it in the house until this man is back. We got at least two children living here with us. They are not my kids. Their mother used to live on the same apartment we are. I told this story all the time. She got kicked out. She was homeless. We took the children in. I'm like a father to them. My talk with the mother, good morning, hello, hello, goodbye, goodbye. I never talk her, "How was your day and stuff? Good morning." I talked to her at least for the past 2 years. I talked to her once or twice. Thank you. Honor and respect. The Most High is there is taking note. And then we can read my heart. I didn't do this so I can get along and stuff like that. That's what that is. Protocols. That's why you have to know when you're addressing the Most High. Very humble, brothers. You don't go over there in the Most High. You are praying and then you say every kind of thing with your mouth and stuff, being all prideful. Protocols. The Most High understand this. That is why when we pray, we call an angel. We give the angel the message to deliver to the great King himself. Bypass all the prayers because the heaven have a gates. The gates open every time the sun goes up. You pray right now, your prayer goes, and then your prayer will wait until the gate opens so you can get in. When you give it to an angel, this angel is like express. Give it straight to the Most High. A letter straight to the great King. And then they read it in front of the king, and then the king send, stuff immediately. Now, I also did profound. He did profound obedience. He bowed down to the majesty of the presence near I stood, and then he gave the queen the letter from Epithia, his mother, queen of Phoenicia. They are cousins. As she opened it, I observed her face. I will go into another thing here. I observed her face. I beheld before me a woman of noble aspect, with rich brown hair, slightly silvered, one with severe plainness across her temples. Her face was still beautiful, though 53 years had passed over her head, but it was marked with lines of thought and care. So she was 53 years old. Her hair was plain, and she had like some traces of gray haired, silver haired, and stuff. Back then they called them silver hair. Now we call them gray hair. What a fine features had lost in beauty. They had gain in majesty. They recall those of the nature of Astarte and the temple of the moon of Sidon. He's comparing her to one of the goddess over there. In truth, her hair and wood pot have become a goddess. Her eyes were the color of her hair, so her eyes were brown. A rich, sunny brown, like that of the Syrian women of Damascus. And is she not by descent through Ephta, the daughter of the last Phoenician Pharaoh, allied to the royal line of Syro-Phoenicia? So her mother was a Phoenician. Her father is Egyptian. Her mother was a Phoenician. So she still retained the feature of her mother, of Syrian, Phoenician, and things like that. So he described her a bunch of stuff and things like that. Now, upon her head, she wore the double diadem or diadem of the Thebaid in Memphis, symbol of the sovereignty of Upper and Lower Egypt, is vested in her person. Okay, Upper and Lower Egypt, Northern and Southern Kingdom. Also, it's our land. Our land used to be the Northern and the Southern Kingdom. They changed it to Upper Egypt, Lower Egypt. Yeah, whatever, man. Egypt is vested in her person. The inner crowd was graceful, conical bonnet of white silk, sewn with pearl and lined with cloth of silver, terminating in a knob like a pomegranate bud, which is the emblem, I believe, Upper Egypt. The outer crown, which is similar to worn by the Phoenician pharaoh, is rich band of gold, faced with cloth and gold and lining, red silk, red being red. Listen to this: red being the typical color of Lower Egypt, Southern Kingdom, as white is of Upper Northern Kingdom. But then again, it's Egypt here. This crown is open as the top of is put over the other, and the two one together from a diadem of beauty and glory. Okay, so that's like that's like the future of her stuff. So we got one more page left, so let us read the whole page and then we will close. Okay, you know what? Let me read the whole page. We close, then we will elaborate. Okay. Listen to this. As about her neck, this is page 53. About her neck, the queen wore a necklace of precious stones, the clasp of which was a vulture. His neck encircled by an asp, in which he was trampling, emblem of the goddess Maut, mother of Isis. Again, we learned all those Egyptians gods, they were like interpretation for them to learn about the Mosai. Yet they should start worshiping those things. Abraham taught them, Melchizedek taught them how to worship the Mosai, but they used those things to teach them how to worship the Mosai, but they ended up worshiping. They don't worship the Creator, but the creation. They ended up worshiping the creation instead of the creator, which piece of the Most High. She was dressed in a vestment of Persian gauze of silk, of the purest whiteness, and of the finest of mist, and green vesture enriched with gold and blue needlework, reaching below the waist and secured by a girdle blazing with diamonds, long robes descending to her feet, of those most beautiful patterns and rare colors which the looms of Damascus produce only for royal wearers. Give me a second. Oops. I haven't read that part yet. That's where I stopped. Royal wearers. So the dress he was wearing, brothers, they only made it for royalty. That's it. You don't find this work in any other place. And the manufacture of which years are consumed. So it took years, brothers, to make this dress. Years. Carelessly over one shoulder was thrown a Persian shawl. I have no idea what shawl is. A Persian shawl. Shawl. Persian shawl. One like which is only made in a lifetime. God damn. One like is only made in a lifetime. So they only make this one per king, one per queen. This queen have this and it's gonna be lasted for all her life. One per king, one. A large scarf, I'm not quite sure if that is. Well, if it's a large scarf and it takes years to make one of them. One like which is only made in a lifetime and would buy a king's ransom. Very expensive. The monarchs of Egypt thus can command with their wealth, dear mother, what other kings can only sight for in an envy. So technically, this thing that this shawl that she has over her shoulder costs more money than the state of Florida. To buy the state of Florida, they do this as to so they can bring jealousy. If you read the book of the Nebuchadnezzar 2 tablet, you'll see why those kings used to wear expensive hish so they can make other king jealous. Say, listen, man, you see that scarf that I'm wearing there? It worth more than your country. What's up with you, Negro? What you gonna do? That cup that I have here, it worth more than your whole country. That's the type of ish they used to do, brothers. Okay, he said here, what other kings can only cite for an envy. They do this for their lust of eyes, so people can envy them. Just like the scumbags now that are buying Lamborghinis and then cars, and when people see them like, damn, man, I want to own one of those. To hell with you and your Lamborghini. I got a 1994 Ford Explorer 2-door that I bought for $900. Took me from here to Walmart all the time. That's all I need. She did not rise to receive me, but when I would have kneel at her footstool, she bended forward and touched my hand with her jewelry right hand, which I reverently raised to my lips and forehead. This is a noble gesture. When you get to the queen or the king, they don't rise. You bow down and then they hand you their hand. You kiss the ring. Well, not really kissing. You took the hand of the king or queen. You touch your forehead. You touch your lips with it. This is a sign of honor and respect. Her right hand, the one that had jewelry, she extended. King does that, queen does that. Remember, even Samuel, Jonathan did this, and Samuel extended his hand. David, when he killed Goliath, he brought the head to Saul, okay? and then kneel in front of Saul and start extending his hand and stuff. Those are protocols, things they used to do back then. Those are signs of honor and respect. Give me a second. I have to highlight it, this part. Like I said, I haven't read this part. There we go. Guess what? She would not suffer me to kneel, but made me stand on one side of her, while Rameses stood on her right and proceeded to ask me a variety of questions. So she didn't want him to kneel. This is another sign of politeness. If you got a prince come from another country, this prince come in peace and try to kneel, you already extended the hand, say you don't have to. But if this prince is an enemy, and then this prince was talking proudly against you, he come and kneel, you let this prince kneel. You let this person kneel. And then you don't extend in your hand. That means I'm what do you want here? Those are protocols how they used to talk back then. If the prince or the king extending his hand, that means he accept your politeness. But if the king don't even talk to you and in his ways and then turn his back, you'll get out of this court with arrows all over your body, all up on your butt, because, hey man, the king is displeased with your countenance. Yes, those are mandatory protocols. And she was asking a bunch of questions. She was asking, "Why is your mother? How's over there?" And women. She ordered her interrogators with grace and benignity. Okay. She expressed her gratification at seeing me at her court, so she was very happy. Trust I would find Egypt so agreeable that I should remain a long time her guest. Ask after your health and welfare, and desire me to convey to you the expression of her esteem for you, and her desire that the friendly relations now existing between the two courts may be strengthened by my visit. So she said, on the honor of your mother, because when it comes to this, queen never really fight other queen, because really they told you that in the books. They said being a queen is probably the worst thing a woman could be. A queen without a king is like possibly the worst thing. You want to deal with war, major war. And then when you're a queen and then you don't have a king, all king want to go ahead and invade your kingdom. Most of them want to marry you so they can, inherit the kingdom. But you are a queen. They know like women have some type of pressure points. If you put too much pressure on it, boom, because you aren't built for war and things like that. Don't get that wrong. A lot of queen back then, they were like horrible fighters. Are you familiar with the story La Crête à Pierrot, Marie-Jeanne? Are you familiar with Marie-Jeanne à la Crête à Pierrot? She was a Haitian fighter in 1804. Two women by themselves, they beat an entire army. They flee before them. And they told you why. When they were fighting those women, their eyes glow like fire. Those women will leap over buildings. They will leap over the French. They will grab them in one hand and throw them away because they had the spirit of the Most High upon them. They had to call all the army to come and fight them. They cheated. They were women. The men actually stepped back. They let the women fight because they were so amazed. Yo, Marie-Jeanne was deadly. She was so deadly when the slave were in South America. When King Pétion or President Pétion and King Christophe sent the Haitians to help the slave on the South to fight, she was the head of the army. Those women didn't play, man. They kill a bunch of men. And then when you see those women, nothing is more feminine than those women. They had no threat of masculinity, full feminine. Those women were fighting with dress, huge freaking long dresses. They had no armor, no anything, dresses and sword in their hand. They kick ass in taking name because they had the spirit of the Most High. Those books, they repress and oppress them. They really don't want you to find out about those things. Really, we men really don't want you to find out how to tap in your power because, when you're writing that thing, your sister come over and then you get pissed off at us and could take our head off in the middle of the night, or amputate our third leg. So yeah, we really don't want you to find out about it. But anyway, so he was talking to the queen, and the queen was as an interrogator, somebody that speak to him and ask him question and things like that. Those are protocols, how they did talk back then. Okay, so and he said like he want the relation to stay friendly between the two countries, because then again, like I said, queens, they don't like war. It's not in the blood. They don't really like that. They will go to war for love, like Zaila, that whore. They will go to war for love, but when it comes to, they just want to be at peace. She was also pleased to say at every opportunity should be afforded me for seeing Egypt, and that if I desire to visit Karnak and Luxor at the temples and cities of the Thebaid, she would furnish me with galleys. So she said, like, if he wished to visit the two other kingdom that she has, she will get all the soldiers. She will give him a great escort and then things like that. To all of this exceeding kindness and courtesy, my dear mother, I return, as you may be sure, appropriate acknowledgments. And after some further conversation in which Prince Ramesses took part, the audience terminated, but only to introduce a spectacle such as I had no conception was in reserve. The review of her army of chariots and horsemen, of the parade of the palace, but I must reserve my description of this scene to subsequent letter. Till then, I remain royal and dear mother, your faithful son, Sesostris. Letter 5. What? That was letter 4? Oh, good Lord. I thought that was letter 5. That's letter 4. We were reading letter 4. Yeah, letter 4 is done. We'll go into letter 5 maybe tomorrow. All praises to the Most High, brothers and sisters. Give the Most High all praises for giving us those knowledges. Wow, letter 5 is pretty big. All right, we'll go into letter 5 tomorrow. All praises to the Most High, brethren, and we will elaborate a little bit on that. Then I will let you folks go. It's already 11:23. It's already 11. I will let you folks go, man. Yes, brothers and sisters. They had protocols back then. You see how when you have to meet a queen, when you have to meet a king back then, there are certain things that you have to do. There are certain stuff that they hides. You see in this letter, they had technologies, brothers, technology that was beyond whatever they showed you in those crappy movies. You see doors open up by themselves. You hear sound. You cannot see the musician. And they move certain things to certain places. You understand? One of those shower those women used to wear back then are very expensive, and they only have one in a lifetime. You can only make one of those things, and they take years to make. Okay, so because they were made by hand, it takes years for those things to make. And you understand that Sesostris was amazed, and he saw the future of the Hebrew. He can now characterize, he can now differentiate a Hebrew and an Egyptian. And you understand that he completed his mission. He gave the queen the letter that he was carried from his mother Epithia, queen of Phoenicia, to Amense, queen of Egypt. Yeah, brothers. All those things, you understand, they removed the 12 shepherds, they expelled them. Whitewash, another word. They swagger jack our people, okay? They swagger jack them, they took their history and then they put their own in there and then make it seems like they are the one that came in, with all that. So we discussed a little about Marie Antoinette and Marie Jeanne. So Marie Jeanne, she was a Haitian hero woman. I need to read the book where she was fighting with all her strength and all her might. Each person she kicked, they flew. Each person she a punch, they just flew. Like Superman and all that. It's glory, man. So it is always a pleasure, brethren, to have you with me. Please, this is my backup channel. I never ask people to do this, but you may subscribe until March 9th, brothers. And tomorrow is gonna be March 7. Is that what that is? 7, and then we will fast on the Thursday, the 8th, and then 9. My other channel will be back up. This channel is monetized, and there will be commercial in it. So that was a channels that I was built for the music and also certain other private stuff that I wanted to post in here. This channel is not. It's not like it wasn't meant for this, but it's just like an emergency backup. Now, brothers and sisters, Jews and Gentiles alike, by the power of the Most High vested in me, I'm leaving all of you in peace. Be at peace, brothers and sisters. Be at peace. It is good. Tomorrow we will pray. If we have time, if the Most High allows us, we will go to letter 5 and we will start reading again, brothers. We will see what's going on and what the Most High have in store for us. Okay, all praises to the Most High, YAHAWAH, the Heavenly Father, in the name of the Holy Spirit, the earthly mother, sanctifying Yahawashi, the Holy Son. Shalom. Be at peace. May the King reign forever.